If your computer regularly loses communication with your wireless HP printer, it can help to give the HP printer a static IP address. This address will not change over time, and your computer might have an easier time recognizing the printer after long periods of printer inactivity. This video shows you how to assign a static IP address on an HP printer running on Windows 7 using an internet browser. Some printers will have slightly different steps. Before you begin, you'll need to print a network configuration page to get your printers and routers information. Printing a network configuration page varies from printer to printer, so we will not provide those instructions here. After printing the network configuration page, note the IPv4 IP address and subnet mask for your printer, and the default gateway for your router IP. Now with this information in hand, follow these steps to assign a static IP address to your printer. Depending on your printer model, your menu path might be slightly different. Refer to the network configuration page you printed previously and locate the IP address for your printer. Open a new internet browser window and type the IP address for your printer in the browser's address bar, and then press enter. A web page opens showing the Embedded Web Server or EWS page. Click the Network tab. Click the IPv4 link under the Wireless heading. The IP address configuration page opens. Click on the button to select Manual IP. In the Manual IP address field, set a manual IP address using the first three sets of numbers from the IP address found on your network configuration page. That will be the same number you entered in the browser. Normally, a wireless router automatically sets an IP address within a specified range called the DHCP range. If you know what the DHCP range is, set an IP address in which the last set of numbers is outside that range, but no higher than 254. Keep the first three sets of numbers the same as the original IP address. If you do not know what the DHCP range is, select a fairly high IP address like 250 for the last set of numbers. Now set the subnet address. Use the subnet mask found on your network configuration page. The number should be 255.255.255.0. If the number on your network configuration page is different, you should use that number. Next, set the gateway address by entering the default gateway address entered on your network's configuration page. This is the router's IP address. Lastly, enter the router's IP address again in the first of the two manual preferred DNS server text boxes. Leave the second DNS field blank. Now click Apply to apply the changes. The screen will not refresh. Print a new copy of the network configuration page to verify that the static IP address was assigned. Turn off the wireless router. If the wireless router does not have a power button, disconnect the power cord on the router to turn it off. Press the power button on the printer to turn it off. Turn the wireless router back on. If the wireless router does not have a power button, reconnect the power cord to the router to turn it on. Press the power button on the printer to turn it on again. Depending on your printer model, after you have changed your printer's IP address, there might be an additional step needed. You may need to update the IP address in the HP folder. From your desktop, click the Windows button icon. Click All Programs. Click on the HP folder. Click the folder for your printer and then look for an item called Update IP Address. If the Update IP Address entry is not present, then no additional steps are required. If the Update IP Address is present, click it to enter the new IP address that you entered earlier. The Update HP Software with Printer IP Address window opens. Enter the new static IP address. You can find this on the new network configuration page that you printed. Click Search. The window will update with a statement, Success! Your printer was found at the current IP address. Click Save to update your software. Click Save. The window will close. Setting a static IP address will help eliminate some of the causes of a lost wireless connection between your printer and router.